Today, we're remembering the all-time great. Grant has passed away. He was 95 years old. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Ben Henry. Chris Long joins now. Chris, truly a legacy that will live on forever.
And for Viking fans that watched him then, and even those now, who younger generation maybe never saw him coach, the resume is what made him a legend. 4 Super Bowl appearances in 18 seasons, and a win total that still ranks in the top 20 all-time among NFL coaches. But even after he was done coaching the Vikings, Bud Grant stayed in Minnesota. He was always present around the team and in the community, even in just these recent weeks. Through a recent conversation he had with Bud Grant, Joe Schmidt tells the tale of a legend.
The stoic face of the Minnesota Vikings mellowed over the years.
I've been lucky. So I go through all the different things that I've been lucky at, being at the right place at the right time, having the right players, having the right wife, having, healthy children, all of those, having good health myself, so sometimes you just gotta be lucky.
Maybe it was the state of Minnesota that was lucky to have Bud Grant. The younger generation might know Bud as the former coach who used to have garage sales. But most Minnesotans know him as the legendary and winningest coach in Minnesota Vikings history.
He is probably one of the greatest coaches ever to coach in this game. And I played under a lot of great coaches. Woody Hayes, Paul Brown. When you think about people like that, and I put Bud right on top.
Harry Peter Grant was born in Superior, Wisconsin on May 27, 1927. His mother called him Buddy Boy, and that's how he became Bud. A tremendous athlete. He played football, basketball, and baseball at the University of Minnesota. He played professional basketball for the Minneapolis Lakers, professional football in the NFL and in Canada. That's where he became a head coach at 29 years old, and that's where he honed his leadership skills.
Been leading by example. Not asking people to do things that you wouldn't or haven't done, and recognizing that we're not all created equal.
After 10 seasons in Winnipeg, which included 4 Grey Cup championships, Bud moved south to Minnesota to become the head coach of the Vikings.
We had those players that played for so long, starting with the Jim Marshalls, the Mick Tingelhoffs, and the Paul Krause, and the Carl Ellers, and the Ron Yerys. You can't be successful without feeling, I reflect on what they've done, really. I think that's the way to sum it up.
It was players like Jim Marshall who helped Bud turn the Vikings into a consistent winner.
Durability is the greatest ability you can have. Be durable and play every week, and you gradually get better and better and better.
The players got better, and so did the team. Bud led the Vikings to 4 Super Bowls. His teams were tough, creative, and disciplined. Bud had rules the team had to live by, such as standing at attention with your helmet under your right arm during the national anthem. Bud was winning games against legendary coaches like George Halas and Vince Lombardi, the guy he liked to beat the most.
One thing I learned from Lombardi, after the game was over, and he was very upset because he won like 10-7 or 13-10, or I can't remember the score. We won a close game. And when, he was going, we had to walk out that way, and I went over to shake hands. He wouldn't shake hands with me. Now, I learned that that's not necessary, and I know how bad he felt, because if you lose, you don't feel like shaking hands with him. I never shook hands with another coach after that.
Bud won 168 games as the Vikings head coach and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1994. Another Minnesota legend, Sid Hartman, was his presenter.
One of the finest men ever to be associated with the National Football League, my very close personal friend, Bud Grant.
And that was the day that the trademark stone face melted.
And my father was here. He was different than I was. He was a very gregarious guy. He'd stand up and he'd say, "That kid made it. Finally made it."
Bud was famous for not allowing heaters on the sidelines of a cold winter game. He thought it would psych out the other team. and in true Bud style. When the Vikings were forced to play at TCF Bank Stadium, Bud was the honorary captain, and he did not wear a coat when he went onto the field on a cold winter night. Bud did it his way. He was a leader of men, and along the way, became a legend in the land of 10,000 lakes.
I think Bud Grant was the best manager of men that I have ever seen. And the way he carried himself, it was such an influence on me. And I think it was an influence on most of the guys. He was a solid, in my book, he is the #1 Viking.
We are chatting with several of Grant's former players today, getting their memories of the greatest coach in Vikings history. We'll hear from one of them later in sports.
Okay, thank you, Chris.